In today's video, I'm going to tell you about Dan Harmon's Story Circle. Dan Harmon is an American writer, producer, and actor who is best known for creating Rick and Morty, Community, and Harmontown. He took inspiration from Joseph Campbell's narrative structure, The Hero's Journey, to create a more streamlined version that can be applied to any story. Compared to The Hero's Journey, Dan Harmon's Story Circle focuses more on character and can be easily applied to different story genres. Before we jump into how to use this storytelling shortcut, let's first hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by HelloFresh. Have you ever wanted mouth-watering seasonal recipes and fresh pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your doorstep? Or are you looking for an easy way to eat well and save money this year? Try HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh makes cooking at home literally the easiest thing in the world. No grocery stores, no stressful meal planning, just delicious meals and ingredients delivered straight to your door. If you are someone like me who spends 8 hours a day sitting at their desk, then you need HelloFresh. Let's be real, it can be hard to find time to make meals at home, so I've been using HelloFresh to eat healthy, nutritious meals every night. HelloFresh offers so many different recipes to choose from, and most of these recipes have tons of 5-star reviews, so you know you are getting something very delicious. Please use my link down below to get a limited time discount plus free shipping. Just look at those savings. Thank you again HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the video. Dan Harmon's Story Circle, also known as the Embryo, is an 8-step narrative structure that is used for plotting a story. It follows a protagonist through 8 stages, beginning with the character living an ordinary life, then venturing out into the unknown to seek something they want. The character achieves their desire but at a great cost, and ultimately returns transformed by what they experienced. Dan Harmon's story structure is a great narrative framework to structure any story that focuses on character development. It is descriptive, not prescriptive, meaning it doesn't tell you what to write but how to tell the story. Using the story circle enables you to think about your main character and plot from their emotional state. By following the steps in the story circle, you will automatically make your hero proactive as you focus on their motivations, their actions, and their consequences. In my previous YouTube video, I introduced you to the hero's journey, a story structure that emphasizes how almost all forms of storytelling have a cyclical nature. To recap, the hero's journey highlights how most stories involve a character who leaves their ordinary life behind, goes on a grand adventure, and returns as a changed person. The problem with the hero's journey is it alludes to stories that fall into a specific genre, high fantasy or adventure genre specifically. That is why in my last video I mentioned that shonen manga has taken inspiration from the story structure. But what if you aren't writing shonen manga, or trying to write an adventure story? That is where Dan Harmon's Story Circle comes in. This narrative structure streamlines the hero's journey into 8 steps that are not genre specific. Step 1. A zone of comfort. The first step establishes the hero of your story in their familiar surroundings. A zone of comfort doesn't mean things are perfect, it means your protagonist exists in a status quo in which they have arranged for themselves to fit their current conditions. The first step is the before phase in your story. This phase is important for your protagonist's character arc so that your reader can recognize their growth later on. Step 2. The desire. The second step centers on your protagonist wanting something. This can take the form of something that they want to obtain or a problem that they want to go away. This motivates them to take action and disrupt their mundane life. This step is like a push or pull situation. If your character desires something, they are being pulled out of their status quo, usually by their own volition. Your character will be eager to leave their ordinary life behind. If your character is being pushed out of their comfort zone, then they may struggle or do anything they can to avoid having to go on the adventure. Step 3. Entering an unfamiliar situation. In Step 3, you kick off the action. Your protagonist has now crossed the threshold from order to chaos, initiating the second act of the story. They find themselves in new surroundings and unfamiliar situations. Step 4. Adaptation. Your protagonist may or may not like the new reality that they have found themselves in. However, the only way out of this situation is to see it through. They will face bigger obstacles and endure many trials and tribulations. They will also acquire skills, abilities, or knowledge that allows them to survive and thrive in their new world. Step 5. Getting what they want. Your protagonist achieves what they ventured out to accomplish. They have completed their search and found what they wanted. Now it is time to end things once and for all. To increase tension, many stories incorporate time constraints, wounded companions, or a changing environment during this phase. Step 6. Paying a heavy cost. Your hero takes what they want, but something is taken from them in return. Before they can return home, they must leave something behind. This loss can take different forms: a temporary setback which leaves the hero stranded, the death or sacrifice of a companion character, or having to give up an integral part of themselves. This step highlights the lowest part of your hero's journey. The price your character pays should be heavy. Your character should doubt if carrying on is even worth it. Step 7. Return to ordinary life. Your protagonist finds the strength to complete their journey and return home to their familiar world. Your protagonist crosses back into the upper half of the circle, leaving the chaos of the second act behind. Finally, Step 8. Fundamental change. This is where you showcase how much your protagonist has changed since the beginning of the story. Change can be positive. Maybe your protagonist is now wiser, more mature, no longer alone, or acquired something that they needed. Change can also be tragic. Maybe they brought better circumstances for someone else, but now they are morally corrupt, filled with despair, utterly alone, or at the end of their life. As with any story structure template, you do not need to follow this formula perfectly, especially if you think it could ruin your story. Dan Harmon's Story Circle, along with other popular story structures like the 3-act structure, the hero's journey, and Freytag's pyramid, are tools designed to help you organize your story. These story structures are based on the observations of stories that were successful in the past and will continue to inspire stories in the future. These story structures are also great for knowing what should come next in your story or what your story is leading towards. With that being said, I hope you were able to get some value out of this video. If you did, please leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below telling us about your favorite anime, manga, novel, TV show, or movie that you think follows Dan Harmon's Story Circle. Remember, you can support me by following me on all of my social media accounts. I post all of my finished artwork and manga updates over on Instagram and Twitter. As always, keep creating, everyone. I will see you all in the next one.